It's vitally important for our health that the air we breathe is as clean as possible. When I was on the Health and Social Care Select Committee, I had the honour to chair the health component of a 5 Select Committee report into improving air quality. Now, we should be honest, and unless we are all happy to be a lot poorer, there will always be some difficult compromises involved. But nonetheless, it is right that the government is committed to improving air quality. The government recognised that local action in areas like transport and planning is key to making the improvements required around the country. Reducing diesel-powered HGV traffic in residential areas and reducing the frequency with which HGVs have to start and stop, leading to additional concentrations of fine particulate matter caused by brakes and tyres, is a critical part of this action. On the 17th of January 2005, an Air Quality Management Area, AQMA, was declared in Dunstable by the former South Bedfordshire District Council. The Woodside Link Road was first proposed in 2012, and at the funding and permission stages, it was made abundantly clear that reducing traffic, and especially HGVs within the Dunstable AQMA, was a key objective of the scheme. This objective was spelt out in the 2006 Air Quality Action Plan, the 2012 Woodside Link consultation document, the 2012 Environmental Assessment Report for the Woodside Link Road, the 2012 Central Bedfordshire Council Environmental Scoping Report, the 2013 Woodside Connection and Houghton Regis Development Modelling Report, the 2013 Local Pinch Point Funding Evidence Document, the 2013 Letter to the Chief Executive from the South East Midlands Local Enterprise Partnership, and in the 2015 Woodside Link Contract Award. So I think the Minister will agree that this is irrefutable evidence that what the Woodside Link was intended to do, namely to provide a direct route for HGVs between the M1 and the Woodside Industrial Estate. It was not intended to increase traffic in half of Dunstable's AQMA by redistributing HGVs from the High Street in Dunstable to Luton Road, and yet this, unfortunately, is what has happened. The Air Quality Action Plan, AQAP, was produced in 2006 and cited the proposed Woodside Link scheme as a means to divert traffic, especially HGVs, away from the AQMA to improve air quality. However, and it is a very significant however, the Woodside Link economic case was published in February 2014, but does not appear to have been publicly available. And this stated, and I quote, "The traffic flow forecasts indicate that there is an increase in flows along Luton Road as HGVs reroute in order to access the Woodside industrial area." Now, this is highly significant because the Luton Road is around half of the AQMA. The above statement in February 2014 is completely at odds with the document which was put into the public domain on the 3rd of November 2016, namely the Area-Wide Weight Limits Report, and this states on page 7 at 15b, and I quote in full, "An earlier proposal for weight limits in the area was met with opposition from residents of Luton Road. However, it is felt that the completion of the A5, M1 and Woodside Link roads will mean that heavy traffic in Luton Road will be reduced. It's unlikely that side roads will be used in preference to Luton Road, particularly since the proposal is not expected to increase lorry traffic in Luton Road." So what the public was told was very clear: less HGVs on Luton Road as a result of the Woodside Link, stated in multiple documents, and there it is in black and white. So it appears that Luton residents, Luton Road residents were not given the full facts in the run-up to the decision to build the Woodside link, which received £5 million of central government funding. So if we then fast forward to the 2022 post-opening report for the Woodside Link Road, there are no traffic studies available for Luton Road, which I repeat is roughly half of the AQMA. However, I am grateful to one of my highly assiduous constituents who has looked at the existing traffic studies on 3 neighbouring roads, Boscombe Road, Church Street and Pointers Road, and he has calculated that there has been an increase of over 18% of HGVs travelling along Luton Road following the redistribution of traffic that arose in 2018 from the imposition of weight limits on other roads. Central Bedfordshire Council don't want to use the 18% figure, but have confirmed that it is likely that there's been an increase in HGV traffic along Luton Road. Now, this is highly significant, given that one of the major arguments for building the Woodside Link Road was to improve air quality across the whole of the AQMA, and certainly not just for half of it. So a large number of the people who were identified as the key beneficiaries of the Woodside Link Road at the funding stage, i.e. Luton Road and nearby residents, are now actually worse off as a result of the scheme because increased HGV traffic outside their front doors is not a benefit for air quality purposes. Despite this, Central Bedfordshire Council are reporting to the Department for Transport in the 5-year post-opening report that all the objectives of the scheme identified at the funding stage have been achieved. My assiduous constituent did not agree with some of the figures in this report, and it took him 6 months of complaining to get the figures changed. There had been claims that the original figures had been reviewed by the Department for Transport, and it turned out that this was not the case either. My constituent had to request copies of this report under the Environmental Information Regulations 2004 and had to wait 9.5 weeks to be provided with a copy. It also needs to be pointed out that the Air Quality Action Plan for Dunstable has not been reviewed since being adopted by the former South Bedfordshire District Council in 2006. That's 17 years. They're supposed to be reviewed every 5. Sometimes people come to us as MPs and there are not easy solutions. But in this case, there is a solution. And that is significantly greater use of the Woodside Link Road by HGV traffic coming to the Woodside Industrial Estate and neighbouring industrial developments, and that would provide huge relief. On page 181 in section 13.5 of the Environmental Assessment Report for the Woodside Link Road, published in October 2012, speaking of the Woodside Link, it says, the route alignments have been designed to maintain substantial distances between existing properties and the new road where possible. The road includes noise, fencing and bungs, and there are significantly less residential properties alongside it, and the homes which are alongside it are further away with some of the protection I have just mentioned. Coming to the Woodside Industrial Estate and the neighbouring business developments up the A1 from the south, the additional journey time to go to junction 11A and use the Woodside Link Road is only a few extra minutes longer than using the Luton Road. The Luton Road is more congested. It has many traffic lights on it, causing HGVs to stop and start, producing more diesel fumes and more particulate matter from brakes and tyres. There is one very significant local business based very close to Luton Road who are doing the right thing, and they are Amazon. They sometimes get criticised as a business, I think possibly unfairly. But from the very beginning, they have instructed all of their delivery drivers to avoid using Junction 11, which would then necessitate travel along Luton Road, and to use Junction 11A instead. And that specifically applies to drivers coming up from the south as well. Amazon continued to make this instruction very clear, and this is an example of a business behaving responsibly and acting as a good neighbour, caring about local residents' health, and we need other businesses to follow suit. Now, I salute the patient and studious detective work that my constituent has undertaken to reveal all of this information. And it is with a desire to seek full transparency, accountability, and the necessary remedies to put these issues right that I have brought these matters into the public domain this evening. It should not have taken this long to get this far. Central government must have a role in overseeing the proper conduct of local government in the noble pursuit of helping people to breathe air that is as clean and pure as possible. And it also has a duty to make sure that its money is spent according to the objectives originally stated, with accurate and transparent evaluation of the actual outcomes. And I do look to the Minister, who I know who is new to this case, to please take a serious interest in it, to please get into the detail with her officials, with Central Bedfordshire Council. And as I said earlier, I do think there is a solution, and I think we could make life better as we all originally intended to do.
So, Trudy Harrison.
Thank you very much indeed, Mr. Deputy Speaker. And my honourable friend is correct. I am new to this case and indeed new to this portfolio. However, this particular date has led me to understand some of the monitoring which is being carried out in South West Bedfordshire and in the wider area as well. I'd like to thank my honourable friend for bringing this particular case to my attention, and also for giving me the opportunity to set out what the government is doing to improve air quality. It is a fundamental part of our environmental improvement plan across DEFRA, and the reason is that poor air quality is the greatest environmental threat to health, leading to reduced life expectancy and costing the NHS and society billions of pounds each year. So action from government is vital, and since 2010 we've achieved significant reductions in major pollutants, and I hope you will allow me to just talk about some of the positives that have been achieved, but I will move on later in my speech to the specifics of this case and what is clearly an area that needs further interrogation of the monitoring results. But we know that emissions of fine particulate matter known as PM2.5 are down 10%, emissions of nitrogen oxides are down 45%, and emissions of sulphur dioxide are down 73%. Of course, this is good news, heading in the right direction, but we must go further. Because reducing concentrations of PM2.5 in England by just 1 microgram per cubic metre in a single year can prevent around 50,000 cases of coronary heart disease, 15,000 strokes, 9,000 cases of asthma, and 4,000 lung cancers over the following 18 years. Which is why earlier this year we set a new maximum annual mean concentration target for PM2.5 of 10 micrograms per cubic metre to be met by 2040, down from the previous limit of 20. Alongside this, we set a population exposure reduction target, which will mean that on average everyone's exposure to this harmful pollutant will fall by over a third by 2040. The measures through which we will meet these stretching targets are set out across the Environmental Improvement Plan, which was published on the 31st of January this year. And this action includes continuing to tackle emissions from domestic burning, challenging councils to improve air quality more quickly, reducing ammonia emissions from farming, and improving our regulatory framework for industrial emissions. As the Environmental Improvement Plan recognises, councils play a vital role in improving air quality, and they have the tools and levers to tackle air pollution at a local level. And I know that throughout my honourable friend's speech, he references the particular road, Luton Road, and the good work that the business in his constituency, namely Amazon, have done in redirecting, or directing, I should say, their drivers down a particular road. Traffic regulation orders are one such tool that the local council could potentially look into, and I'd be very happy, whilst this is probably more stretching towards the Department for Transport's remit, I would be very, very happy to meet with my honourable friend, the Transport Minister, probably specifically the Roads Minister, to talk this particular proposal through. We've been committed to working with local authorities by providing them with clear guidance, funding and tools. And on air quality specifically, it includes the Air Quality Grant, which this year provided over £11 million to 44 local projects. Since 2010, we've funded over 500 projects, ranging from anti-idling campaigns around schools to training GPs to become air quality champions. It includes the £883 million we have made available to help local authorities develop and implement local NOx reduction plans, and to support those impacted by these plans. I would also like to pay tribute to my honourable friend's constituent, who seems to be a real champion for improving the quality of air in his community. And we need these champions, can-do people in the local community who know their area best. And it should not be so difficult for people in our communities to get the information they need, the data that they need. And even myself, I have struggled to get the data that I need to influence policy, and that's something that we absolutely do need to improve upon. It also includes the revision of our air quality strategy, which we've published in April this year. The strategy sets out how we expect local authorities to use their powers to improve air quality and support delivery of our stretching national targets. With regard to the Woodside Link Road, as my honourable friend will know, the scheme was completed in 2017 with £5 million of government funding to improve access to housing and other developments in the Dunstable area. A further £33 million came from the council and third-party organisations. And as he set out, really from the embryonic stages of this link road, as he will know, as he's been a member, I think, for the area since 2001, all the way through, he's also explained that local residents were hoping to see a reduction in heavy goods vehicles on that road as well. The Council have shared their 5-year on report with the Department for Transport. I know that my honourable friend has raised concerns with that department too. The findings and the impacts of the scheme are matters for Central Bedfordshire Council, but I'm very happy to pick this up with them. And I, of course, recommend that my honourable friend continues to engage most assiduously with them on this issue. Luton Road is part of Central Bedfordshire Council's declared air quality management area. The air quality management area was declared in 2005 due to exceedances of nitrogen dioxide air quality objectives from roadside emissions. I'm pleased that Central Bedfordshire Council have stated in their latest annual progress reports to us that the levels of nitrogen dioxide on Luton Road have been compliant with objectives since 2018. My understanding, however, though, is that there is not a monitor for PM 2.5 on Luton Road. I will, of course, give way.
Give way a second. I think really at the heart of this debate, and I'm very grateful for her interest, and I would like to take up that offer of a meeting with the Roads Minister, with herself, to try and work with the local authority, because I think we can move forward to make things better. I think at the heart of this is the public statement, and I quote again, that heavy traffic in Luton Road will be reduced. That has not happened. That's where the anger comes from. More HGVs belching out diesel fumes, stopping, starting at lights, means worse air quality. Now, we'll need to measure, we'll look before and after, but it must have got worse. More HGVs means the air quality gets worse if your front door is, next to a busy road like that. And that's where I think the disappointment and the anger is. And, government does need to be sort of transparent and honest and straightforward. And if we haven't achieved what we said we were going to, we do need to go back and do a proper post-evaluation report and see what we can do to put it right. Would you not agree with me as an approach?
Mr Deputy Speaker, I would certainly agree that the local MP who has served the area since 2001, who has seen this project through to fruition, who absolutely understands the concerns, well, firstly, the promises made to his constituents, and now the concerns about increased traffic and therefore increased emissions. And while the Department for Transport does have a comprehensive plan to decarbonise the transport sector, including the heavy goods vehicles, we are not there yet. And as I have set out, air quality is a fundamental, vital part of our survival and thriving ability, and it is critically impacting on the health of our nation. So I look forward to meeting with him in more detail with the Roads Minister and also potentially perhaps members from Central Bedfordshire Council or officials to see how we can assist. Also, I will remind the Council that the action plan for Luton Road Air Quality Management Area dates from 2006. That hasn't been updated by Luton Council. I am pleased to say that last year we strengthened the Environmental Act by introducing a new escalation process for those. I certainly will.
I appreciate this is a long way from my constituency. It hasn't been updated by Central Bedfordshire Council. It's Luton Road, but within Central Bedfordshire Council, they are the local authority.
I thank my honourable friend for that correction. There's been a new escalation process for those local authorities behind on their reporting duties, including where air quality action plans have not recently been updated, and that will come into force on the 30th of June. So I can assure my honourable friend, though, that even after compliance with the legal air quality objectives has been secured, we do expect local authorities to continue to act to improve air quality. And as we set out recently in the air quality strategy, we fully expect councils to take action to reduce emissions of PM 2.5 from sources within their control. If we consider that action from councils is insufficient, we will consult on introducing a standalone legal duty on local authorities to take action to reduce PM 2.5 emissions. In closing, I thank my honourable friend again for raising the important issue and for giving me reason to look into our monitoring across the country, and in particular the monitoring that is undertaken in his constituency and specifically on Luton Road. I hope that I have reassured him, Mr Deputy Speaker, that we are taking comprehensive and necessary action to drive down harmful emissions. There is always more to do. And we're doing this at both a national and a local level, protecting our people's health and our environment. And I look forward to following up with my honourable friend to discuss this in much more detail.